Hey, everybody, how are you doing? Let's bring the microphone down. Who woke up feeling a little bit better this morning? Whoop, whoop. We got to put the shades on. The future is bright. My future is bright. I have to wear the sunglasses. How are you all doing? Yep. Enough with the props. Bitcoin, crypto. The crypto is coming. Yep. So the key thing about what we're going to lay claim to have a bit of giggle and gloat about is Bitcoin was and is proving, in our view, that it is a bull. Many of the crypto influencers, many of them with gazillions more subscribers than my humble little channel. So few subscribers, so little people, but we have quality people. They know quality. They were all dithering. They were saying, look, if it's going up here. I was watching one guy after the Bitcoin high of yesterday say you could sell there, one of the options, and it'll come back down and maybe you buy again, or if it goes lower, then you short. And it's either way directional opinions. It's very hard to trade a nested if statement. We recognize when it's not high probability yet for us. We recognize when we have to say, okay, look, both options are strong. But the whole game of having any degree of value to people is eventually being able to, being the one that's earliest to be able to commit strongly to one direction. Because we know an impulsive move is coming. We know there's an impulsive move coming. And the value is being early. There's some people on crypto Twitter that still don't agree that this is even an upside move, which tells me how much money is coming in. And that's why the volume, also some guys are saying, well, where's the volume? Where's the volume? This is a walkout till it's a run out. And then it'll run. And it'll run and it'll have walk periods. It'll have various other rates of going up. Plus, it's just made a first interim just now. I'm looking at the chart. And actually, we got the Monero chart up that we've been watching. Isn't that a beauty? Come on, you privacy coins. Monero, 309, looking good. The key thing is the direction has now been signaled. So whilst you guys can't see this chart, it's not going to be so much a technical take. It's more a talk about it take. What's gone on here is that Bitcoin for me has signaled. It's also confirmed its break on our HVF that we've drawn. Now, as I was saying, the others generally was, well, if it goes down to this level, I'm a shorter. If it goes up to this level, I'll go long. But it's actually been in a rising wedge, squeezing a little bit up. And most of the people will think that rising wedges can be smashed downs, not in the context, less likely in the context, not never, but less likely in the context of HVF. The key thing is how soon can you get to a commitment on direction and stand by it. So we had our period of uncertainty. We have to absolutely say that. Watch it. It was a bit up. It was a bit down. Watch it. Let it start to settle. And then as soon as you're getting a bit of the volatility dying out, analyze the footprints. How quick as a tracker of charts can you get to the direction? Because there's never going to be a question about there's going to be a reasonably significant move coming out here. It's more a question of, will people be able to get the direction? Nice, the lads from New Zealand. Watch this jump chair morning before work. I'm in Australia and put some limit orders in. Fulfilled and thanks, says Lost in the Funk. Good man, he's in the community as well. Lost in Funk, well done. And you made the trade. And that's the difference for so many people that say, well, I've got to lay out money up front. Well, it's how much is this morning worth to you? How much is this morning worth to you and being early in a single event over all those single events in a year? Because, as I say, I had a look at one or two because I'm curious to see what are the other crypto influencers. One were the three guys all together. They're all the big YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And they're all saying first down and then later up, 100 grand at the end of the year. One actually said 1.4 million by the end of the year, which I was a little bit yeah, we'd all love for him to be right, but it was a little bit extreme. Watched one of them again last night, and you're saying, yeah, you go up, you can sell out there, one of the things, and go down. No, you need to get the direction right. You need to recognize this is a volatility constriction event. And then once you understand that this is probably going to be a first setup in a new trend, you want the push, you're going to get strength. And initially it can walk out, and then suddenly it can run and it can sprint. And the key things were, we trust in COT. So I was having a little jest now. You can call me the COT father. That's right. And we've secured that Twitter handle, by the way. So COT was really, really powerful indicator for turning. It's just never been wrong. It has a 100% track record. It's what I call the insider indicator. It's super, super strong. And the key thing is, it's about Bitcoin for the direction, but then it's about the relative strength for the max pump. So once you're getting the direction accurate, which is up, you want to be in the likes of Monero up 15%. You want to be in some of the, now what I've noticed is it's the fairly established tokens that have also initially been strong. Some of the smaller ones might be a bit slower to start. They may play catch up, but I don't like it when it's too late. Hey, Asito, morning. Daniel George, I take it this rise is not the one to sell. The 27K is not now. I don't know what that means. Sorry. We need some reset location advice, says and sushi. Daniel George still wants one more drop. That just, a lot of people are going to be waiting for one more drop. This HVF has triggered, and it's made its first interim, and it's having a wee pause there. So it may pull back. The other thing is, where's my friend Warren? Where's Warren of, I think it's 2 videos ago. Where's Wazza? Who was with me when Wazza was in town? They never show up again. It said meaningless lines. Wow, I'm looking at this chart and I'm seeing that neckline 37,250. I'm seeing a double shoulder, 3 touches to 37,250. Then we had our W head up, boom, 37,250 done again. Right shoulder, a 1-minute HVF. Fractal on the 37,250, boom, runs, does a feign and break of the previous high. I'll have to do this technically with charts because I'm just talking to you guys on a webcam level. Feign and break, pull back. We even said, how far will it pull back? Probably the funnel of the 1 minute and the 37,250 line on Bitcoin. Overnight, what does it do? Pulls back. 37,250 runs. Those meaningless lines just keep popping up. Wazza. Come on, Wazza, where are you? You can show your face. They never come back, by the way. In fact, I'm wondering if Wazza is Japanese. In Japan, they have virtually no violent crime in Japan. In fact, the cops have to run around catching blokes that steal women's panties off the washing line. Do you know that? And you wonder why the Japanese are natural mask wearers. I wonder if Wazza's a panty sniffer as well. Oh dear, you gotta just love it. Where's Wazza? He's wearing his panty and he's not coming back. He's upset. Those meaningless lines are so cruel to him. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, yeah, so the bull market is going to be back, but what you'll probably get is you're going to get a little bit of a walkout because most people don't realize it yet. Some of these crypto influencers are momentum, very swayed by the current momentum of the moment, so now they're all swinging bull. But the difference is, where did you get your trades on? If you're sitting for so long and you're either ors, you don't have conviction in direction. Look, if you're an options trader and you're selling calls and puts, fine. You don't ever have to have a direction. But in crypto, you have to get to the point where you have reasonable conviction. Volume by price was another one. We're not looking at the floor there. And then the upside head and shoulder that broke to the down, and then the inverted that was coming back up. So, look, things can still go wrong. Potentially, but I would say we pretty much the risk has just dropped immensely with this impulsive move. It's one of the more impulsive moves we've had since around about the 30th of May. So probably one of the most impulsive of June. And it's more about that it's taking out key levels. It's taking you away from your volume profile thickness. It's triggered key levels. The 37,250 was a massive level. It was a massive level when we were above it that we couldn't hold. And then below it, it was a massive resistance level that we're now back above. And what happens with volatility is you compress as you go along. You compress as you go along. So when you start taking out levels after a period of compression, that is a breakout. And that's what's happening. The guys aren't on the breakout. Moshe Hoshman says, Mr. Sniper, thank you for your accurate analysis. Do you think it will be a dead count bounce? No, we have targets. We have targets, and we have upside HVF's targets. So I'm looking at the technical chart. This is going to be a reinflation through the 47,500, which was the neckline for the macro head and shoulder that took you down into the 30K. So we will do at least a neckline run, 48,150 odd, 20 odd, by give or take. I wouldn't trade it to the dollar. So, you'll get through the 48K is our session, and possibly a bit more. That's the normal target. It is also first in the new trend, so it's not just the end of it. So we could reflate right the way back up to the 59s. And the key thing is, we'll make out this key point. There's been a number of times in Bitcoin where there's key turning points. We were the sole bears in the high. There were so many all-time high callers during 2019 at the 14K level, 13.8, 14K. That was July 19. We were the sole bears. These were bearish events. We were deeply unpopular for being bears. In the 15th of November, we live streamed on the 11th of November on a weekend while doing one of our last physical theory weekends for our community members. Live streaming from the hotel, and we gave a huge Ethereum short because it fell even further in percentage terms than Bitcoin from the 6K. That was 15th of November. We gave lots of bull calls into the highs, but that was less rare. There were a lot of people that were bullish, but those key turning points, the 6K in 18, the 13.8 in July going into there, pullback. And then the macro first cup gold nugget call, why you should be leveraged long. And it's a biggest continuation pattern. That all came last year in and around the July period. So getting the main core bias directions right is going to be one of the things that we want to focus on. We don't always get it right. We warned of getting into stablecoin. There's a shadow of a crypto just prior on the head and shoulder. We vacillated on our neckline, so we weren't perfect there. And I still left a ripple long on, which I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I would get a court decision. So, your calls versus what you actually execute, there's always a credibility gap on there, but it's very important to be positioned generally for the right direction. And this has been a big puzzle, and I've been sticking my neck out, and I'm saying it's a long for the last 3 or 4 days. Because there's quite a bit of a commitment and a bit of damage that would be done to my premium community if I'm wrong on that. I actually feel the pressure of that. But if they are wise and smart and not oversized, they will have done much better than crypto average community, who's all sitting on the sidelines waiting for the next dip, the continuation dip on Bitcoin. And that's not what, in our worldview, what you're going to get. So a couple of levels you can write down. The 38,900 is our first interim. You've made that now. You could have a little pullback. It could be a bit dull. Any dips for me will be bought. Which are the current alts that are overperforming? If you have a little look at the big percentages, I'm not going to mention real shit coins, but we start to get to a bit of quality at Solano, which we liked. We discussed. It was one of our alts that we were discussing in the premium community. Then we had a little look at Kasama. So Kasama and Solano, we both liked. We looked at Polkadot, which we liked. We looked at Monero, and all 3 or 4 of those, I don't even know how many I said. I think I said 3 or 4. 4 there are up 15%, 13, 14, and 15%. today in the last 24 hours. So it's not just the Bitcoin trade, it's about which ones will be relative over performers in that. Theta is up 11% as well, so it's done okay. Of the ones we tend to look at, Binance has also been a strong token. So the big decent ones, we haven't chased down into number 173. The big decent ones are running earlier, quicker. You note that they're actually already on higher percentages than Bitcoin. This proves to me our hypothesis. This was not a bear market. This was a correction in an alt and Bitcoin bull market, led by Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was dragging the alts down with getting a bit heavy. And as a result of that, eventually the alts got brought down when Bitcoin was having too disorderly a spill. But now the alts already, they only got less time than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been in breakout for us since July last year. The alts kind of took a bit to get going. That was a true bull breakout, as we predicted, led with the Bitcoin dominance. Now we're going to continue to see a bit of Bitcoin dominance being shed again. It's done. Let's just get the market caps in the right order. Bitcoin, it's done 3.75. I always tend to choose a little bit of a Ethereum and have it as a core holding. That's done 5. It's done okay. Binance and DOT were very big good ones to have on as well. And those, you're pretty good with those all day long. Actually, relatively dull day, but has been quite strong, is actually ADA, although it's one we do like more broadly. We think there's going to be good news flow. So I think you can rotate out of Binance and DOT later, or some of it into ADA for the July-August run-in, when I'm expecting quite a bit of heavy rollouts with their smart contracts and everything. But, we'll see if they get the response. How much of that's already been baked in, we don't know. It's worth pointing out that during this bearish period and this consolidation, HEX is a very useful counter trend. I know people see all red when you mention them, but staking a staking coin with low float overhang is really handy to have in there. So we'll see. Anyway, so let's have a look at something else. Let's have a look at your questions and what you're talking about, what you want to talk about. Morning. Yes, morning. Good morning to you all. Frans, when do you think we will test all-time high? So the targets are 48K, and there's a big neckline. So you may have some degree of sell-off after running that. A good targets typically have some significance. They're respected. Respecting a target means for some period, meaningful, and some pullback, meaningful in dollars, occurs when those targets are met. So don't forget, guys, you can grab the link below, book to join and learn the method as well, so that you can have the skill set forever in you and watch it being applied daily with all forms of media updates through our community, from voices to full charting, recorded video, etc., and run through, and also to be part of an awesome community that are very well versed in HVF method, continuing to get better at it, learning and supporting each other and sharing related HVF method ideas. The key thing in trading is to do one thing very well, rather than try be a master of all things every dog has written a book about. Even I will one day maybe get a book out, but the point is, I'd sooner make the money. You don't make money selling books. I'd sooner make the money first in the effort and record the practical trading in videos and provide that as seen, as implemented for people to do, then write when I've got thumbs for fingers and spell like a dyslexic moron. So it'll take a while. Yes, of course, editors, ghostwriters, we can do all that. But the point of the matter is, books are for credibility. For me, the best credibility is just being somebody who will single-mindedly, when others are playing either way, to the downside as well as to the upside, say, look, the bias is much higher than you realize to the upside. So let's just see your comments. No, mate, I'm pointing out, you see, there's always one. So you make money from not trading by selling trading videos. No, we trade. I'm tired of proving to people that we trade. I don't need to do it anymore. We trade. I trade. I can't watch and run commentary and be this engaged in something that I'm not interested in myself. But good luck to you. The point was, books make less money and provide less value to people who are learning than practical trading recorded. If that's the message. But if you want to spin it some other way, be my guest. There's always a few like that. What else have we got? I'll always look at the comment, and I'll always get the Warrens of this world. I'll always find the Warren, the one that just wants to diss you. Yeah, I'm getting into shape. You look ripped. We're getting into shape. I've got one of these e-bikes now. Certainly cool. I've got a GoPro. I'm going to do a recording. Maybe I'll put it up with a battery. It's got like, I don't know, 675 whatevers. And you can put it on turbo, and it's a suspension one. It's a Cube hybrid, super light, limited edition, all the marketing gizmos. And I go burning it over the rocks on this big suspension. And then when I get a bit too broken on the energy side, it pulls me home on the battery. So I'm a cheater. I'm a full-blown cheater. I'm going to do a GoPro vid and have you believing I'm a real mamba on the bike. And then I'm going to tell you about my fat battery that's pulling me home. Yeah, so green smoothies. Drink the green smoothies. I've got an excellent partner here who's looking after me. Green smoothies, lean. I actually eat one hard meal a day. Funny, we end up talking shit about other things, but I eat one hard meal a day. And I drink about almost half a liter, 3/4 of a liter of green smoothie. And then because I'm also sitting too much, you got to watch it. I've got about 5 different chairs to try avoid getting what I call the traders piles. It's a woman's revenge. You hide from your woman in the toilet and in the trading room. The woman's revenge is a pain in the ass. So I've got all sorts of kit here. Looks like whoop, can you see it? There's the 2 layers of cushion. I've tried the kneeling chairs. I've got them all here. I actually think I've got to do a tweet about it, like the hardwood chair, then the springy office one with a cushion, and then the kneeling one where you sit forward. And then I bought one of these gamer ones with a carbon, and it was as hard as fuck. So a lady's revenge for not paying her attention is a pain in the ass. And you watch that one. So you've got to get up and move. So getting on the bicycle, but then you still got a very hard seat to deal with there. Try not to sit too much. And do all those things. 565 of you, 200 likes. Nice to see you. Nice. The cot father is in the house. He's pulling his arms out and he's claiming his call. But yeah, don't get too arrogant. The market will always humble you. But we have some fun now anyway. But that was right. And as I take some stall that others weren't prepared to put the neck out. They're either weighing for a very long time. You can't trade either way, generally in direction. And when you're investing and putting your collateral back into your pot, we actually put collateral back on quite a while ago. I'd say weeks more than days, but putting on the trades, some form of leverage, last 3 or 4 days, just been nibbling and stocking up with the structure. Let's see what else you want. Guys liking Theta. EOS, snipe your way to 1 BTC. Yeah, keep going. Don't stop at 1 BTC. Get yourself 100. Get yourself 500. Is doing another test now, I reckon. Any chance of a visit, Francis? Julian Assange wants a visit. Yeah. Poor Julian. He deserves to be let out. What a scam. Call him the Godfather. That's right. Yeah, you got to work the legs if you want to burn fat. So cycling and doing a bit of squats and lunges. Yeah, the number of steps have fallen off the hill but summer's here, and I always get a bit more active there. So, yep, the other things were looking good. Oil. So the things that helped also is the 360-degree analysis. We don't always talk about this, but the silver stirring, the oil strength, this is all dollar weakness proxies. These are all dollar weakness proxies, anti-fiats as we call them. We coined the phrase anti-fiats. They are dollar weakness proxies. They're a little bit coming off now. If I'm looking at them on this chart, a little bit coming off silver, a little bit coming off oil, but they've been probing higher. Silver seems to be making a very clear foundation at and around the 28, just a bit above, just a bit below. These are very supportive things for crypto because it illustrates the weakness of the dollar. We'll have a look at the dollar index. You got old sniffer Biden reporting that the greatest threat to our American homeland is right-wing white extremists. Oh, there he goes again. The child sniffer. The child sniffer. Did you hear all that? Unbelievable what you get to hear, what gets put in front of you. So privacy might do well, guys, but Monero is a sweet one. Nice setup, so you can go and have a look at that. We all draw it in our premium area. We may get a little bit of a rest pullback. This is a buy the dips now, and I think there's a lot of money on the sidelines that needs to chase in, which is going to help fuel you up to the neckline run. I would take off fairly substantially at the neckline run, which doesn't mean you won't go higher. Because it's a first structure and a new trend, we'll expect higher. We'll have overperformance bands that we'll be utilizing for that. But we'll certainly take some of the scale off that we've put on during this long that we're taking. What else are you guys wanting to hear about? Short chat and stream. Any questions you want? XMR, AIR, privacy by default. Yeah, privacy is the real one. Jeff likes ARR, says Egid. Yeah, it's quite a new one. Is that pirate coin, is it? It could be very interesting. I'd love to see more privacy tokens. This is a macro bull. Someone says, do you still believe in macro bull? I don't believe in anything generally. My assessment is, I just don't like the word belief because it's something you don't let go of, that you haven't been rationalized into. So my assessment is that we are in a macro and that the time frames are extending. So there was a couple of charts that we'll do. We'll be on Real Vision again, and it's one that I'll probably show again there, because the key thesis is with Bitcoin is that the absolute low to the extreme high time frames are extending. So the top won't be the end of this year. You may well get quite a substantial sell-off at the end of this year, and everyone will come and say, you said that wasn't going to be the top at the end of the year. The halving cycle, actually from the extreme low to the extreme high keeps getting longer. It was around a year. The first halving, it was then 2.5 years, and more recently it's 4 years. So actually the next bull, it's going to keep on bulling, but you'll get a lot of, hey, you've just sat through a 55% correction. So the bull market is going to outlast you. You've got to know when to take some off and when to buy dips again. This was a buying dip opportunity, which is what we asserted. We got our collateral in quite early with all the majors. And that's the game. And we've been putting leverage trades on a couple of favorite projects and ones that have shown relative strength. Yeah, so guys want to ask about Litecoin. Let's go down, up. Where's Litecoin? I don't think it's particularly special. It's going to do okay. Monero's doing better. There are others that are running. The ones that run first run hardest, longest. That doesn't mean you must chase a pump that you've totally missed. If it's well set up and hasn't yet run, but it's a good setup, it'll go. But most of these are going to reflate. It's just a question of which speed you're reflating at, going back up. And that's where the early runners are often the best runners, which is why we had highlighted DOT in the community. We had highlighted a few of this, one or two of the smaller, but up and coming Solano we highlighted, and Kasama. So those were interesting ones. I don't always talk about those two, but they looked well set. Litecoin is fine and it will reflate, but it's not shooting out the lights any more than, say, Bitcoin Cash is, or any of those kind of old news Bitcoin copies, clones, forks, etc. Uni, we quite liked. It's done reasonably well. It's probably better set up than Litecoin if you were to choose it. So you can go there. And it hasn't done an immense amount, but it's looking pretty well set, its structure. So that's one you can also add that might be a second stage runner. Yeah, the guy's wondering where Wazza is. Poor old Wazza. Warren. Yeah, he'll never put his full name in the comment section and diss the sniper again, will he? Are you based in the UK? I was once, but then I decided summer's quite a nice season to have. So I moved elsewhere so that I can vitamin D. And vitamin D, by the way, is the thing that's going to keep you guys strong with all these lab creations. That suddenly they seem like they're throwing Fauci and Gates to the dogs a bit here. Funny how we all said that. We don't want to go full reset, but it was a lab generated. It had features that didn't belong in a virus. It's kind of like a giraffe with elephant's ears. You know, it's kind of been made in a lab. And now suddenly that it seems having debunked, the fact checkers debunked. Anyway, I'm going to go full reset here. I better watch out. This won't, will suddenly... yes, I identify as a Christian, Voland. I believe in morality, truth, and goodness, and kindness to your fellow man. That certainly is Christianic virtues, but it's also virtues of other religions. You've got to watch out, though. All our religions have been captured. The popes and all of them by a virus. You see, the world is threatened by viruses in many ways. And organized religion is absolutely captured. Absolutely captured. So yeah, you're going to find lots that are interesting. I mean, guys are saying XLM is interesting. Yeah, Lumen. They're all there. The key thing is to measure them against a decent benchmark like Ethereum. Who looks good against Ethereum? Those are the ones that are going to run. So you can do cross analysis against Bitcoin and Ethereum, your biggest alt and your main benchmark. And you want to be in a technical setup that you're better on that. And DOT has finally rounded bottom against Ethereum a bit here. XRP against ETH has actually given up ground after a good start. So XRP is actually a bit slower. XMR, let's have an XMR BTC. It's outperforming Bitcoin nicely. Have a look at, do yourself a favor, have a look at the XMR BTC chart. That is actually quite nice. In fact, we would, let me post that link. Yeah, you got it live. Haven't looked at it in a few days, and I'll post it straight into trade leaders for the community. XMR BTC, but we like it. We like the Monero, and it does look like it's got more to go on that one. So bull call for Monero. You can have that one on me, and it's in a nice structure as well. I'm looking at the M30 after quite an ugly spill, but they all had a bit of an ugly spill. Quite an ascending structure. It looks, I think Monero could be set for a good run. Bit rising wedge, is it? Possibly, maybe a bit steep along the bottom. Could have a stab down at some point. Yeah, so privacy looking good. So who's your favorite crypto mega subscriber star? Tell me that you watch apart from us. ADA, does it have room to go up? How much you think? ADA was relatively strong in the down leg. Tell me in the comments your favorite other YouTube follow that is in crypto. The thing with being relatively strong early is that it's not followed through. It's got a bit of a resistance at the 1.8 ADA. That stems from before the dump as well. So it had a short spell where it went through the 2s to 2.5. It's got a bit of a 1.8. Go from the beginning of May and draw the 1.8 line, and you'll see. So it's leaning up against it, but when it takes that, it'll take it with momentum. So you can put limit orders maybe below at 176, see if it'll dip down and fill it. And then when it breaks 1.8, it will have some momentum, probably go straight back into the low 2s again. It did a 2.almost 5 on the upside. So you might get a 2.2, 2.3 for a nice RH2. Then Bitcoin is sitting at the 47.5, 48K of its neckline. And then you get your first pullback. And then we might get a little bit of an easing. So it'll be smart to take off at that point. Yeah, you like Cliff High. There's some stuff that's a little bit woo-woo sometimes. Guys like Tone Bays. Yeah, he was the guy who had the other two guys in Moon and Dante, I think, the black guy. I'm not sure his name. Ben Cohen, yeah, I saw Ben. He does interesting long-term cyclical analysis, and actually he concurs a lot with me, or I concur with him. I saw one yesterday because someone shared it, but he's talking about bull market extension, so less violent. So we're getting more stability, less volatility, and longer. So this is what happens as the ball grows, starts growing. So it's harder for Bitcoin to 3x. It just doesn't do it in a day anymore. But he does some interesting study on that, and I think you're right. Respect to him. Cliff Heiss, I don't know quite sometimes what to make of him. I think he's a smart guy, but sometimes I'm not quite sure. You know, if you're working for Microsoft, I don't know, whatever happens. It's almost like the CIA. You never stop working for the intelligence. But maybe it's good. I've watched odd things, but I don't know. There's not always a conclusion. What do you do with that information? How does it add to what I do? What's practical information? What do I do next? Sometimes dates. James Altucher is an interesting guy. He writes well. And he's kind of does an honest take, and he's kind of admits his faults, which makes him likable, because actually people don't like gurus that are always telling you how perfect they are. They're usually hiding something. We get plenty of stuff wrong. We're having a gloat today, but you know, the next day we'll have to take it on the chin. Where are we with the COT line? Still working on our version of how we'd like to do it. And then we'll release that to community. We'll probably have level 1, 2, and 3, and we'll release a base version free for all of you guys. Sorry that it's taking so long. I'm not very tech literate, and the guys working doing Pine script, when they make an amendment, sometimes it doesn't catch. So we'll see if we can't have something. Some guys like Martin Armstrong. Tyler is a good TA guy with milk. Yeah, I've got a clone, a South African kid who's now decided to call himself Sniper, and he's got way more Twitter followers than me. He shows up on Rand Newer's YouTube channel, so he's just been spiked on users. He's got like hundreds of thousands. I'm like sitting there like little Norman No Mates with my channel of 10, 12 years old. You don't do ads, you don't get love, my friend. And he's gone and put the Sniper in his name. His name's Sheldon Sniper. Lynette Zhang. Someone put Cameron Foos. I have problems with people that just feel they have to pose on Lamborghinis. I don't know. Be careful of that sizzle and snizzle. They're often wanting you to believe. The people that have it often don't need it, don't need to show it. I could have a Lamborghini. It would be the stupidest thing I could buy. Stupidest thing. No, I'm not saying he's bad. He might be awesome. Maybe when I was younger, I would have. It's a vacuum. It's a lady vacuum. TY, you tell the truth. Yeah, we try to. You get caught out. Nugget news. Yeah, oh, Nugget. Where's the Aussie boys? Yeah, we're the Aussie boys. More on silver, and yeah, I think I'll be doing a market sniper on oil, silver, and gold. Yeah, we'll always be the real sniper. Yeah, people copy your ideas. I was reading books about sniping, the efficiency. I keep telling the story about World War II rounds, 250,000 rounds for every casualty. War is an absolute waste. It's designed to bring inflation, which makes the bankers rich, and the internationalists, Sabatier and Frankenstein, impoverishes the rest. They put everything on your tab. That's the game of war. So there's no war love from me. But if you're to be in a war, be efficient. And the snipers were hated. Even the snipers of your team were hated because they were killers. They were absolute killers. Because infantry were useless. They weren't killers. They just made a bit of noise and held a position until they left. Generally, they weren't killers. Snipers were deadly. Vietnam was 450,000 rounds per casualty. Imagine how much wasteful lead is being blattered into the trees in the jungle there. And the sniper is 1.3, because every time he pulls the trigger, he's expecting a headshot. He's waiting until the perfect moment. And the reason he has such a high conversion rate is he shoots way less. He only shoots when he's highly certain. So this was one of those where we were, a key event with expansive reward and potentially tight risk could be taken. A lot of doubters out there. Counter indicator. Where's the sentiment indicator? Where that has been awful. And it was also another reason, along with volume by price, along with COT indicator, along with everything. Everybody, I mean, you had 770,000. I keep mentioning that. Wow. I mean, if those guys had spent a little bit of that money getting some HVF training, I reckon we could have saved, if every one of them had done that, I reckon we could have saved at least 2/3 of them. They probably still would have taken some form of beatering because, old habits die hard. But man, I didn't find what I was looking for, but social media sentiment. This is quite interesting. Bits analytics. It wasn't the one I was looking for. Bit sentiment index. Crypto fear and greed. That's the one. That's the one I remember. So we're at 24. Most people still haven't realized yet. Extreme fear still qualifies as extreme fear. We're as low as 11. I think, that is probably as low as you go. And we're in the middle of a macro bull time. I'm calling halftime oranges. Most of these people that they are polling that are getting that are not following this channel. I can tell you that. Because they're still pissing in their pants and shaking and juddering and sniffing and blubbing like pussy-whipped babies. I mean, where are these extreme fear? Come on, I've never felt so good about the market. Either I'm wrong or these guys are lagging badly. And they'll start to be really bullish as it comes up to my neckline at 48K, and I'll be handing it over to them to wear a 15% sell-off, and then I'll be taking it back off them when they've over-leveraged to make back the money they lost on the last sell. I mean, it's a tragedy. It's a Greek tragedy. But I mean, what can you do? 24 now, extreme fear, red zone. Wow. It's It's a lagging indicator. When you get extreme lows, like we had 11s and 10s. Hyperinflation, Jay, is an absolute redistribution of, it's a plan. High inflation, I'm not going to say hyperinflation. The correct definition of hyperinflation is double going into triple digits. In actual fact, Shadow Stats has America's inflation at 12%, by the way. But let's just park the definition of hyperinflation, which usually means super high numbers. You can have high levels of inflation with weak growth, which is kind of a stagflationary event, and all the assets become owned by the internal Sabatian-Francus cartel, who have penetrated everything from media to the CEOs of BlackRock, to the CEOs of Pfizer, to the CEOs of every megacorp oligopoly. And essentially, they go long assets. They buy up all the land and property. Property is now good investments because we're now clocked into the real inflation. Just don't have a mortgage that isn't fixed. Preferably don't have a mortgage at all. I have zero debt. I'm lucky. I've been trading for many, many years, and I have other streams of income. But don't be caught. Don't be caught with an instrument that they can pump the rate up on you, because that's how they'll shake you out of your property. That said, in this inflationary time, government debt is going to absolutely underperform. It should be shorted, sold, and whatever you get out of that, which is what Michael Burry is doing, you should be putting into assets. And so UBI is supposedly the caring leftists. Leftists is wokeism. Wokeism is all from the Hegelian dialectic. Hegelian is one of these, you go back, Kabbalah runs Masonry. It's based on, Freemasonry is based on it, which gets the Anglo-Saxon in. Freemasonry is big in Turkey, by the way. I went in Istanbul, I saw they have shops selling all the Masonic rings and all of that stuff. It's penetrated in Islamic culture as well. They have captured the religions, the organized religions. They have captured the media, and they are going to enrich themselves. And unfortunately, when they do this Bolshevik communism, there's usually mass slaughter and then totalitarianism. That's the game. Right? It's not a very popular opinion. It's not a very feel-good opinion, but the same people are coming again. Only this time they're going to capture it on a global sense, unlike the 30s of millions they killed in Russia of Orthodox Christians and Armenians through the Donme, which are the Turks, but they were Trojan conversion Turks from the Sabatian-Francus, so they weren't even originally Islamic. And they captured Turkey. They run Turkey. They run most of the Muslim nations, Saudi, all of them. So Saudi is a pretend enemy, which is actually a frenemy, a cooperative. That's why all the 9/11 hijackers were Saudi. But we went into Iraq and Afghanistan. But the 11 hijackers were Saudi. They needed 11 Muslimish identities. Who do you go to? Your mates that are Trojanized, captured as well. Saudi Arabia, absolute dogs. They chopped a guy up in an embassy. Anyway, we're getting political, yeah? So this inflation is designed to impoverish everybody, particularly the poor. So inflation disproportionately hits the poor. And then they offer UBI, which is communism, but then it comes with conditions and strings attached. That's how you shoehorn communism in. You tip the table so that the asset rich get super rich, people sitting with massive amounts of land, equity, gold, silver, commodities. They become super rich. The middle of class get taxed into the ground and get either working poor, or the odd one or two escape to become wealthy, and the poor just can barely exist. I mean, you got this Guardian saying what a success the furlough scheme is. It's time to talk seriously about UBI. Like I never saw that one coming. From about 5 years ago, when I first started talking about it. So the whole game is, oh, UBI, who can not want UBI? They're going to give you money. No, it's the death of sound money. And it's to compensate you for the fact that they're going to put on so much inflation, and at the same way to control you, because to get your UBI, you're going to need a social score, a credit score, and everything else. That's how I reverse in communism, Bolshevik communism. So you need to fight. You need to fight. The media is the enemy. Unfortunately, organized religion is the enemy. People that are truth speakers are your friends. If you want to know godliness, rather than asking if someone's Christian, ask him, does truth, where do you stand on real truth, and how much effort do you expend on understanding the real mechanisms of the game and real truth? Let me tell you, this Bitcoin that we're sitting at trading is captured. It's completely captured. This is the death of cash that we are bragging about being right on a little move to the upside, if it happens as we say, which is in essence the death of the most anonymous transacting tool you ever had, cash. Now you're going open source banking system. It's an absolute joke. So the totalitarianism is here, my friends. It's so why was the volume so low? Because it's a walkout break that nobody's yet believed in. It's clearing levels. It was tapping on those levels for a while. It's not super, super low, and it will escalate. Sometimes the volume grows as the momentum and the confidence grows, and a lot of people have been left on the sidelines. You're early. Just by watching this channel, you got to be early. You are early. And I say you are at trading 38,890. You're just about 39. Apart from the three peaks of the head and shoulders there, people should start waking up. You made a first interim with us, so you could have a pullback. In fact, we expect one, a small amount, but the next stop is 40,400. Why is there light volume? Because it happened over the Asian session. I expect often quite light volume over there. Wait till the Americans wake up. Wait till Europe is midstream. Wait till the dollar starts falling again on the DXY. You don't always trigger with extreme volume. You don't always trigger with extreme volume. And I can certainly say, if you're still thinking going down, I think you're wrong in terms of this continuation pattern. And I've thought that from a long time ago, even when it was a lot lower. Just because we got calming of the volatility, and this is probably going to be a walkout, and then it'll suddenly start pumping, and then it'll slow down, and then it'll have a rest, and then it'll walk out a bit. This is what you're going to get, but you will have sporadic volume. When you'll get lots of volume, when you hit that neckline. I'll be part of that selling volume. As the noobs are going, okay, it seems we're back on a bull market. We're hitting 48, 50. It's going to be 50 soon. All-time highs coming. I'll be like, here, have some Bitcoin. Have some Ethereum. Have some doggy. Have yourself a doggy, boy. Who's the dog? You tell me now. You there, boy. Who's the dog? Today, who's the dog? Oh, dear. Gotta laugh, gotta chuckle. I would add to the best positions. I put on quite a lot of size already, man. I put on early. I put in a lot of size. So dips, I'm not sure I need to add too much on dips. Things that I weren't already holding, maybe. But I've got probably over 100 Bitcoin long, and then I'm long, and just the two majors with Ethereum, I'm like maybe 1,000 Ethereum and 100 Bitcoin long. So I'm big from early. So it's smiling at me today across platforms, not on any single one, but across all. So I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm happy right now. If it falls, I'll be unhappy. Namaste from India. Yeah, so on the reset side, guys, you're going to need to, if I to do more reset videos, you're going to need to go to Odyssey. I can't talk freely on YouTube. The most I can do is 2 minutes and say, this is what I'm going to talk to you on Odyssey. And then you're going to have to kind of pay, because they charge library tokens to host that. And I just don't want it to be, I just want it to be cash neutral. I'm not interested in making money out of it, but you'll pay 10 libraries, whatever, to watch it, and they whatever, how many cents. And then that covers the hosting and a small amount of time, and we're done. So I'm quite happy to do it. I get culled on YouTube. It's frustrating. It takes a long time. I do it on devices when I'm hanging out, because I want to get off the screens as well. It's bad for your eyes. I've got like 2 different versions. These are gamer glasses type things with these yellow things, and I've got the really intense one that I call the Jimmy Savile pedo collection of goggles. You can join me, and we can all go work for the BBC, that nest of pedophiles, and we can sniff kids like the president of America. Only that's not quite my style. But these I call the Jimmy Savile pedo collection goggles. They are like 99% filter out of blue light. So you need to get off screens. It's not good for you. From your backside's point of view, from your eyeballs point of view, from your health point of view, get yourself an e-bike so you can cheat when you have to, and get off these goddamn screens, man. Live your life. I'm long, man. I'm long. I've been long for a while. So buying dips, I don't need to buy dips. I need to get some out at the right time, and that's why we have targets. That's why we have method. And that's what gives you confidence. And whenever you're saying, shit, what should I be doing? That was unexpected. You resort to method. You say, here's the playbook. These are the rules. This is the point at which whatever you're thinking is invalidated. We gave you levels. How many of those crypto influencers were 100% selling you, I'm bull, for the last 4, 5, 6 days? How many of them gave you levels where they would accept they're wrong? We can always be wrong. Market will humble you, definitely. E-bikes are great fun, man. I didn't realize how much fun I was going to have on them. Of course, I bought the best that money can buy, but still, they're awesome. Great suspension set. I've got real stony, rocky, and hills and dumps, because I also ride my dirt bike here. So it's real fun, because you end up going for a longer ride than you think, because you kind of can get, you can get back, but you still get puffed, because it doesn't help you unless you're pedaling. If you haven't bought an e-bike and you got a few shekels, treat yourself. It's a great way to get exercise. I'm actually just having fun. I'm trying to stay on, riding over rocks and hurtling down hills and up other ones. And by the time you realize that you're actually getting gassed. So something else we're doing, I've not got it on, I've got the other watch, but I've got the health monitor stuff. So we've got quite an awesome checklist that we're wanting to make more use of, that I've been developing as assets for the community. And in its bio-measuring your physical state. So the key thing I observed in myself is the days I lost the most money were usually when I was cranky, tired, angry. That can come from emotional, fighting with your missus. It can come from not enough sleep. It can come from too much coffee, drinking the night before, sniffing kids if you're Biden, all of these things. Very bad habits that can do you no well, and then you don't have quality of sleep. So tracking quality of sleep. So I'm actually, at the moment, we're doing a bunch of stuff, heart rate, monitor, not specifically heart rate variation, HRV, because that gives the difference in the rate between the beats that can tell when you're stressed. So in the morning, you can have a setup one that's like the finger pinch. So I bought all these pieces of kit. We're going to be doing a lot more. So you actually score your biology prior to when you trade. And that's, people think why? Because actually psychology, the mental part of your trading game, and your degree of commitment to your analysis on that day is quite variable. And everyone thinks it's the brain down. So when I spent time with Rand Howell on the psychology and the trader performance, the key thing is, if you biologically off. You can't brute force good things through your brain because you're lacking glucose in your brain, you're dehydrated because you had 10 tequilas or whatever you guys get up to, sniffing glue there in the back streets, all the mischief. And next thing you know, you feel tired and you're quick to get irritated. I was swearing at my computer a lot yesterday. I just didn't get in good quality sleep and everything wasn't working quite well. I was like this. So lots of effing and blinding. It's just it's not circumstances that make for good analysis. So tracking that every day, you can see just your morning at your resting rate, you can do the finger pinch and you can get a score biologically. What state are you in? I mean, if you're working out, some of you are mentioning that you ride and you have e-bikes, you could have overdone it. You're a bit more tired than you think. Do you have a workout? Do you do anything? All of these things are quite important generally for your life, but they doubly important when you're making leveraged financial decisions. Literally all the days I did really bad, destructive things, I could pinpoint them to being days that biologically I was not right. I'm far more circumspect and aware and open to considering all things and more thorough on the days that I'm fresh. So we'll be drinking that. We don't drink raw milk. We drink almond milk over here in this house. You'll hear a blender was burning down just us. I'm waiting for my coffee. I have that much coffee in my coffee. I then have a chicory coffee mix, which is non-caffeine. And then we have almond milk made here. Don't buy that almond milk in the supermarket. It's 8% almond, 92% maltodextrin and all these pharmaceuticals. We make our own almonds. You can do it. I can do a video for you guys if you want this alternative living stuff. Dairy is stuffed with pharma and pus in the milk. They found 260 million particles of pustulence. They're sick, those animals. They're being forced to grow faster than they should. They're being pumped with hormones. Their body is trying to fight it. They've got pustulence in their milk. And you are drinking that, and you wonder why you get mucus, and you wonder why you get that. And I'm not like an anti-meat guy, vegan guy. I'm just telling you the milk is stuffed because of the biologicals. If you have a non-biological, you're still drinking another animal's growing its baby stuff. The almond milk is amazing and it tastes better than dairy. Once you will love it. So you take about a handful, you soak it overnight in water, you get your blender out the next day, you blend those almonds with water, a nice strong blender, and you top it up. And that's your milk. And it gets a nice frothy head if you've got a decent blender. Pour it in with your coffee, better than dairy. Better than dairy. Stop consuming the toxicities of the world, whether it be the media, whether it be all their narratives, and build yourself a healthy existence, build your wealth, keep your mentality. I distill all my water. You have a coffee with me, you have distilled water with the finest beans, almond milk, bit of cinnamon base at the bottom. It blocks sugar because we put in a coconut sugar. We don't use normal sugar. It's a lower GI sugar. Sugar is evil, but you've got to sweeten coffee for me. So coconut sugar, pop it in, a tablespoon in there. Your chicory coffee with a small amount of the real stuff. My missus wants the whole thing, the real stuff only. Almond milk. We get a nice fat head like that, little ghost of cinnamon. Why cinnamon? It blocks the insulin release that the sugar generates. And the sugar generating insulin is what makes you fat. So you'll learn a few things. So that you have that with your coffee. I have 2 mugs of that every morning, and then I have 3 glasses of green smoothie, and that carries me straight the way through to 6 in the evening when I have my first solids meal. You can do that too. And it makes you have more time in your day. Guys, I don't have time sometimes. I really don't. Guys I have 3 Twitter handles with people DMing me. I have YouTube with spam comments we try to keep down. 3 YouTube channels, BitChute channels. We're writing and creating new content recording. We're trying to finalize indicators. We are setting up reset structures for people in Panama. We are trading the markets. We're updating a premium community. Man, you can't sit down for an hour each meal, 3 times a day. That's like 3 hours gone. Yeah, nice. Coconut farm. Coconut's great stuff. What a product. What a piece of nature that is. Use it. I use it as oil. I don't have sunblock. I use coconut oil. And I live in a hot climate, and I don't have such a freckly top of the head like some of these old geezers that you literally get cornflakes off. You just want to stop them and scrape your Kellogg's off their scalp. There, that was a bit disgusting. So I don't know if you'll appreciate that comedy. Yeah, it's got natural, about 3 or 5 natural sunblock moisturizers, stop you from getting dry. It's proper. Going long almonds, go long almonds, absolutely. Commodities generally, but almonds, yeah. Almond milk, they were trying to say it destroys nature now. They're trying to attack anything, the burgoys. So I do a combination. Ed Venus is asking about bullion vault. I do a combination of fizz and internet gold. And like you say, for example, you do, say you do £50, you're in the UK a month of buying internet silver and gold. What you then do is, once you've got £10,000 worth, you place an order through Pure Gold. The links are below, by the way, for you guys. Or you can use your own people. I really don't mind. I don't force anybody to do anything. These are the people we've sourced that I put forward. I did misquote slightly. They build some of the VAT in, but there is something else. Talk to them about that, because you do get some VAT protection. But it's not clear cut. I don't fully understand it, but it turned out the cheapest for me. But there's other good guys. XMR is killing it, says somebody. Let's have a look at the Monero chart. Monero. Scrolling. Got so many cryptos. Security I did in purple. Yep, 315. It's looking good. I think we just wait. You might get a bit of a rest. Also on Doggy. We got a 51 target on Doggy. It would be nice to accumulate a bit more of Monero. Actually, I haven't seen the Bitcoin chart. I felt that's one I would take a bit more of. But yeah, what were we talking about? Almonds and various other things. I think the war, people who are looking for war, the war's on you. Right now, there is a war. It's the internationalist New World Order. The New World Order is already here, guys. It's here. Where do you go where they don't have COVID restrictions? It's like the same. It's unilateral. You have a global governance. Somebody else beyond the government you voted for in your country has decided rules that every country is largely adhering to, with very few exceptions. Your New World Order is here. The war's on you. They're getting ready to cull. They've already started. It's pretty, it's not the most positive thing in the world to think about. Arm up a little bit. Get vitamin D. Definitely, if you're in the northern Europe or northern states, Canada, just must consume. And even if you're in the sunny climates, you often have less than you think. So I've got my daughter on vitamin D. You can do the drops under your tongue. You can just top up and get out from the screens. That's why I say set and forget structure. I don't have to watch too much. Stops are in. I went to bed. I could have been wrong. I would have been taken out. I would have hated it. It would have bit. It would have hurt a little bit. I would have survived. Brothers from another mother and sisters from a different mister. Don't forget our girls. We've had amazing women. I must tell you, my partner was talking on the reset side to one of our community members, been a community member from October. Here's her own words. Bless her. I'm not going to name her. I haven't asked her permission to say this, but my partner couldn't believe she's 61. Female, 61 years old, in our community, says she's made so much money, she can't believe it. Her grandkids aren't even going to need to go to work. She ain't telling them that, but she ain't going to work. Humorous. Utah, America. Shout out to Utah, America. Well done, girl. All power to you from the Crypto Sniper. We got some awesome girls on board. Sometimes you find it difficult to believe with my dodgy humor, but they're awesome and they're great and they're confident and they're making it happen quietly, successfully in their own way in our community, and they're making money, and they're not all teenagers. 61 years old, she's making great bombs. She sounds like she's 30 years old. She understands what's going on in reset context. She's enjoying being a member. Yeah, Lynn Alden is amazing, says somebody. Yeah, she's amazing. We must get a chat in with them again. She avoids the reset stuff a little bit, which I can understand, but she's very technically accurate, does high quality work, truly wants to be, on point, and almost always is. Always glad to have a check-in with her. Horum's calling. Yep. I've got that one. It needs to start moving. Is it moving? Let me have a look. Yep. There he goes. Do we tell the rest of them? Why not? Horum's bledded into the comments. Ian J is triggering at the moment, and that is one of our smaller alt big pump calls. So you can go and have a look at Ian J. We'll give that one to you for free from the premium community. ENJ. Go and have a look. Triggered. You wouldn't have got in when we got in, but she's doing nice. She's doing nice. Yep. So, I mean, that's just an example of who you get in your community. I mean, I don't choose my community. They choose me. That's how it works. We're a community of the willing. We have very interesting people. Not just, I mean, I mentioned someone in Utah, America now. You wouldn't think female 61-year-old is my avatar, but killing it, nailing it. She's been in Bitcoin for a while, doing the job, protecting what she's making, checking in with us, had a chat. Yeah, I'm very proud of all of them. And as I say, people of means and people that also take ownership of their own outcomes, because I could be horribly wrong here, and you got to just say, yeah, and sometimes that happens, and I ain't going to lash out. I can tell you the crypto bull does pull in some folk that haven't yet earned the maturity to be wealthy, and they made some money now by being net long, but they've still got personal growth to do. And you can see generally that they get hyperactive, they charging around, wanting to change everything and do this, do that. They're super confident, and then they blow up. And then they've got to go and learn humility. I had to go learn humility, not once, but a couple of times. So yeah, we call it a gloat today, but the truth of the matter is there's no gloating. We have a chuckle at Waza. I always have a couple of friends. The meaningless lines, Waza. Can't believe real Waza. Where are you? He's wearing his mask. He's sniffing that panty, boy. You know, I prefer the, the real thing. You know, me, I'm like, I don't have to sniff the panty. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah. So we have a bit of fun, but a minor gloat. But at the end of the day, it's about making money and helping others to do that. And that's the biggest thing you can do. You can't take your money with you. Spend some of it, have a good life, and help and make a difference to other people's lives. So that even if you touch them via these channels that we have through YouTube, and you never even meet them, they're kind of glad that they came across you and you did something of that. That's a little warm glow of energy spot that you made somewhere else on the planet for somebody else that later got to put his kid through school, raise himself from blue collar or working poor to middle class or middle and up, or whatever the case may be. And that's pretty gratifying. I enjoy the people along the way. Well, we all do. You can make it doing that. Good shout, Francis. Always nice to have your support and knowledge. What charity do you support? So here's the thing on charities. You've got to be kind of careful. You've got to give of your own time and your own resources directly. Official charities are captured entities, I'm afraid. Foundations, charities. I mean, the one with the polar bear that I think the recently departed Queen's husband was the patron of. These people are that is just some of them are taxes by another name. That's not an excuse not to be a giver, but give to family, give to those close to you first, and then give to the needy. And I like animals. There's nothing fake about animals. There's nothing fake about animals. So I like the notion of supporting animals. When my daughter comes, we go walk captured animals. Cyprus, lots of dogs actually get shipped to the UK. The British are pretty good at adopting, giving homes. I want to give them credit for that. The UK's where I'm at actually ships unhomed dogs to the UK as pets. So yeah, the WWF was totally fraudulent animal charity. So I'm prone to animals. I mean, I'm heartbroken. I had 2 hedgehogs drown in my pool, like a little man and a little woman. It's like a little married couple, and one fell in the pool and the other one fell in afterwards, and they both had to fish them out. I was like devastated. So I put water out now on a dish so that they don't commit harikari in my swimming pool. I don't want them to die. They're lovely little beasts with tiny little hands and little prickly backs and all of that. So yeah, animals is good for me, and fresh, clean water. If I did something in Africa, it would be clean water, distilled, everything. There's no reason with solar power you can't have a permanent distilled water, wash with distilled water. So let's be clear. They call it distilled water like it's something that is changed from real water. The real water is distilled water. Everything else is contaminated water. Mist is distilled water. Snow is distilled water in a cold form. Steam coming out of a nature area is distilled water. Rain is distilled water. It'll form around a dust molecule, but it's distilled. Once it goes through systems and adds chemical and fluoride added to it, don't use fluoride toothpaste. Yeah. They do have funny little hands. Yeah. Yeah. Hedgehogs are awesome. Dogs and cats. We've got baby kittens. So feral cats, we're feeding feral cats at the moment. They don't get spayed. So lots of them. So I chase and I catch them, and then I catch them. And then I jump in the pool because they fight and they struggle and they're wild. I want them to be my friends. So I jump buck naked in the pool with them and I let them swim for a bit. And then I fish them out and then I dry them. And then they're like all chilled. They're like my friends. Then I can scratch their heads. They go, "Yo, little kitty." I think that's quite an eccentric little routine that I do when I catch one. So I put food out and I want to hold one. Catch him from behind. He's too busy eating. They climb in the dish, the little kitten, eating with his food. I catch him, take him for a swim, and then he swims around. Then you catch him, you save him. No, not that he's drowning. They're good. They're instant swimmers. And then you drown them. I don't drown them, and then I dry them, and then they're my friends for a while, and then they get scared again. You have to rinse and repeat. Yeah, so the animals. Okay, guys, I hope you traded well. It's great to see you all. Lots of you on there. 596 early in the day. Thank you for the 400 likes as well. We also appreciate it. No ads on this channel. That's probably why we don't grow. We'd love to get to more people, and we'd love to help more people. And we did stick our necks out early. We did say bull. We did switch our whole collateral on even before that. And we were right on this occasion. Remember, we can always be wrong. And when we're wrong, we're going to be 180 degrees wrong. And I think we're right. We could still be proven wrong, but these alts don't seem to think so. Monero doesn't seem to think so. The COT indicator doesn't seem to think so. The volume by price, never thought so, in our opinion. And the big histogram volume will come. And there's lots of money, scared money on the sidelines, as you can expect after a 55% bull market correction. So let me finish on this key point. 2017 December through to the lows a year later, that's a bear market. That's a year. dropping 55% in the space of about 10 days from that's from the high. It was maybe 3 weeks, but from the shoulder high around about 59.60s, you dropped all the way down to 29 in literally less than a week, 7-10 days ish. That's a correction in a bull market. The hardest falls are corrective in bull markets. Bear markets kill you with time. They just keep coming down. And then they set up, and then you think it's a bottom, and then they go down some more, and then you think it's a bottom, and then they go down some more, and then you've given up, and it's been a year of pure pain and misery. That's a bear market. A bear market is not determined by percentage in crypto. That's my theory. It's determined by speed. The violence of the sell-off probably means corrective in a bull market. That means we are still in a bull market. We've had our halftime oranges. Americans don't know what halftime oranges is. It's when you play soccer in Europe or even in South Africa, it was the same. At halftime, they'd cut oranges into quarters and give you as kids an orange to eat. You'd eat your quarter, and then you'd run out and play your second half. I don't know the reason why. Because it hydrates you somewhat, gives you a little bit of vitamin. Who knows? Maybe it wakes you up. Anyway, there's also some sugar in oranges, by the way. So orange juice is one of the worst. Fresh squeezed orange juices that's not juicing. You don't do that. You'll get a spike, an insulin spike. You'll get fat on that because of the insulin effect, amazingly. But anyway, halftime oranges. That's where you're at. And now the second half is starting. And some people haven't run back onto the field yet. You're the only guy running with a football. Of course you're going to score a goal. The goalkeeper's still snacking. He's orange. He thinks it's a bear market. You're going to just run and boot it in and go, yeah. And he's going to go, what? Hey. That's not fair. That's not fair. You were before me. That's right. Be early. That's where you get the pinch on the risk and the expansion reward. Now, go buy Monero. I'll catch you later. Thanks, guys, for checking in. It was fun. We had a nice little chuckle and chat. See you later. And if you want to join the community, grab the link below. Otherwise, thank you for sharing the YouTube. We will catch you again soon. All the best and have a safe week ahead. Let's enjoy this run. Let's see if we make that neckline. Bye for now.